Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mindfully Chaotic. I'm just dancing because I'm excited. So, before we get started with this episode, I just kind of wanted to share a couple of things real quick. Before I introduce to you who our guest is, I just want to let you know that this episode was a little bit different than our usual episodes. My guest today had a very fun and creative idea where she wanted to do a two-part episode. Today we had her flip the script and ask me some questions to give me a chance to tell you guys a little bit about why I do what I do and what it even is that I do, because I don't really talk about that often. And we will also follow up for a part two where we will talk a little bit more about her. In between both episodes, we talk about multi-passion and what it means to be multi-passionate. So with that being said, it is with great honor and great pleasure that I tell you about today's guest. She lives by the philosophy that everything is connected. As a multi-passionate person, her gardening business is quickly transforming into a lifestyle movement where more of her offers and services are officially becoming available to the community. We actually will be working very closely together on quite a few projects that I am so excited to share with you. And with that being said, it's with great honor and great pleasure that I introduce to you Terry Moody. Oh, actually, that is my introduction to her. But one more thing I also want to add, because we did record the episode before I recorded this intro, I should just let you know that there are quick few brief moments where the service was a little shaky because Terry was actually tuning in from a coffee shop, and we were doing this via Zoom. So I went through and I listened to it all, and honestly, you can hear us. There's just a couple seconds where it sounds like it's going to cut out. So if you hear that, please be patient with us and don't let it stop you from continuing to listen, because we have lots of fun, and this is just the start to a two-part series. Honestly, probably more if we're being real, but for now, just a two-part series. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Mindfully Chaotic, and I give you Terry Moody. Welcome to Mindfully Chaotic. I'm Amanda Marie, New England-based intuitive healer, community builder, manifestation artist, and founder of Wicked Smart Wellness. Life is a journey unique to each and every one of us, with ups and downs and curves and an infinite amount of possibilities. I know firsthand what it's like to feel defeated, but I've learned how to challenge life and create opportunities in abundance for myself as I move forward down any and every path I choose. My intention is to guide you to harness your own power to create for yourself the journey that you thought was only possible in your dreams. Growth does not need to happen alone, so between myself and occasional guests from the community, I will share with you the tools to shift your mindset, strengthen your intuition, and bring forward all of your intentions. When you live and speak your truth, what you say and do will manifest. Thank you for listening to Mindfully Chaotic.
All right.
Here we go.
All right.
Hello. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm saying.
Go for it.
No, that's a fun start. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mindfully Chaotic. It's almost been a whole month to like the day since my last episode. And that's because I've actually been pulling back and kind of just taking some me time, reevaluating my personal life, reevaluating my business, and just kind of ironing things out and getting things ready, because some big things are coming forward. Some big things are happening, new collaborations, new adventures, and I'm super excited about it. But it made me push off Mindfully Chaotic for a couple of weeks, and I am so excited to be back. And it's going to be really cool because I have a really special guest with me today, except I'm not going to tell you anything about that, because we decided that today we were going to flip the script. And instead of me hosting Mindfully Chaotic, my beautiful friend here, Terry, is going to do so. So Terry, I will let you take it away. Tell them who you are, what you do, and we will go from there.
All right. Well, hello. Thank you for having me on the show, Amanda. I was so stoked when we were catching up this morning and talking more about it. And I'm so stoked. So my name is Terry. I have a small gardening business, and it is quickly transforming into more of a lifestyle brand. I am a multi-passionate person, and my business is starting to reflect that. And I'm excited to share more and see where it goes. I feel you on that going inward for the month of June. I can't believe it went by so fast. I spent a lot of it mapping out where this is going because it's shifting so fast. So I'll share more about that, but I really want to learn more about you too, because I have gone to your website, I have dug through it, I have been, watching the Wicked Smart Wellness group on Facebook. And every time I say that name and every time I call you and either you pick up or I hear your voicemail, I've said this to you before, but I don't know, just the name makes me feel like home. And the North Shore is such a special place. And I love what you're doing with the name and the brand and bringing people together in this area to celebrate local businesses. So I want to hear more from you. I want to learn about everything that I possibly can. So that's a little bit about me. And I just want to introduce the hostess with the mostest. Amanda is a manifestation artist, an intuitive healer, a teacher, and a community builder. It is not only her intention, but mission to help support the community with both personal and business growth through active, enriching events and services. So I'll just jump right in here. I have some questions prepared.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for that intro.
So,
I appreciate that.
Yes, of course. I'm new to hearing myself speak and feel comfortable doing that. So again, thank you for having me on the show and giving me this opportunity to work on public speaking. It's huge for me. So thank you. And jumping right back to you, I did pour over your website and I saw there was a section that talked about memberships to the Wicked Smart Wellness community. And I'm wondering, could you tell me more about that? And can I join? How can I join? What's the breakdown?
Oh, I'm so grateful that you asked about that because, it's funny because as you're mentioning that you're working on getting more comfortable talking about yourself and listening to yourself, as much as I love talking and as much as I love having these conversations, I find that I don't talk about me as much. So I don't think this will probably be the first time that our listeners even learn about what it is that I actually do. So thank you so much for asking about that. It's my honor and my pleasure to be able to be a part of your journey, to be able to assist in, pushing those boundaries, stepping out of our comfort zone and doing new things like this, which leads me into what Wicked Smart Wellness is and what the membership is. So the whole point is to help promote, just like you said in my intro, my intention and mission is to help promote and support as much as I can when it comes to personal and business growth within the community. So I do this by bouncing around all throughout New England and teaming up with as many different businesses, and you know what? I usually say small businesses. However, at a recent networking meeting, someone who I actually connected with from the Boston Businesswomen Network, and I'll give her a quick shout out. Her name is Liz Teresa. She actually enlightened me with the idea of removing that word small, no matter how small your business is, because none of our businesses are small businesses. They're all companies that we're working so hard to pour our heart and soul into. So I'll admit, I will probably still call myself a small business here and there. I'll probably still use the term small business here and there out of habit. However, I am looking to wipe that right out and recognize that we are all working so hard to grow. So we are real companies, real businesses, and that is my husky cheering on the real businesses. He's like, go businesses. But yeah, so anyway, my point that I'm getting at is to team up with as many businesses as well as many local artists throughout the community just to support growth. And I do this with creative events. It could be, sometimes it's networking. So the business aspect is more highlighted, like it's networking or masterminding. But sometimes it gets so creative and different. Like we'll do pool tournaments or Mario Kart tournaments or random paint nights and other different forms of meetups. So there's so many different stuff that pop up virtually and in all different locations. I mean, not to mention you and I are in the works of planning a gardening retreat, a self-love, self-care, rejuvenating. I don't have any details on that for you guys, so sorry for the little tease, but it's definitely something that'll be fun. And it's a good segue into explaining the difference with the membership though, because I collaborate with a lot of other people, but I also have a lot of stuff that I host on my own. So when you are a member to the let me try that again. I tried to combine SMART and community. When you are a member of the Wicked Smart community, it gives you a direct access to these exclusive networking and business growth opportunities. So even though all are welcome and I host a ton of free events as it is, that anyone is welcome to join, these ones help give you a direct access to a member directory. That way, everyone that comes to my website can find you, get linked to yours, see who you are and what you do. It gives you the opportunity to help collaborate and host workshops and be marketed by Wicked Smart Wellness. So there's a bunch of stuff that come along with business growth. It also allows for significant discounts on a ton of our events and workshops, and it also will allow free entry to a bunch of that as well. With that being said, the marketing opportunities vary between blog posts, influential marketing with videos, just anything. It's so different. And just to sum it up, what it really comes down to is I am in the beginning stages of this still, which means each and every business or artist that comes my way and joins me on this journey is a founding member, which means that they are a part of deciding and creating what Wicked Smart Wellness is and what it will be for all of us as we continue on and continue to grow together on this wonderful journey of life.
I love that. So it looks like there's different tiers almost. There's affiliates, there's, I can't remember the other words that you used, but I definitely would love to talk more about that and hear more of the breakdown of how those work and see how my small gardening business and the lifestyle brand I'm building can.
No, that's an absolute great question. I'm so glad that you just asked about that, because the tiers actually vary in a way that they benefit the business community as well as the general community. I almost just fell out of my seat. I was trying to tell my toddler and my dog to leave each other alone. So if this video is on YouTube, which I'm not sure if it's going to be yet, but if it is and you saw me fall, I hope you got a good laugh at least. But the differences in the tiers do vary. There are so many different options because one of my biggest priorities is to be able to help as many people as possible. So I want to be able to fit into the budgets as many different people as possible, which is why I do divide it by tiers. The community membership is really cool because it gives you access to creative events, fitness classes, book clubs, hangouts, all that fun stuff. And if you are one of the small business members, you are then being advertised to this community tier. Like they will be seeing who you are, what you do. You can advertise in the Wicked Smart group, which all of us are in. So it just brings, it's a way of tying everyone, connecting it together. I also have just a simple level basic one, which like the most simple one, which I suggest if you're just looking to kind of start out, which is our basic level, will get you a discount to absolutely any event. So there are some free events involved as well, but this one will at least give you a discount to any of the ones that I unfortunately can't give free, because even though I would give everything free if I could, this is my business and we are working towards business growth. So it will give you a discount though. So if you were looking to start getting involved and start trying out some of the events, you'd be able to do that at the member prices by starting on our lowest level tier. Whereas our highest level tier, just our all-inclusive small business we'll just say Wicked Smart Business membership.
Yes.
That just is the one that will include absolutely everything, including things that you ask for. Because like I said, this is the beginning stages. So I'm constantly adding new things. So if you were to join it and be like, yeah, you know, I love everything here, but there's this and this and this that I'm looking to get out of it still. You tell me that and we will work towards making that happen. And that's really what my goal is here, because like I said, we're all doing this together. Like if anything, this is also to help hold me accountable for my own growth.
That's amazing. And, you know, I really appreciate how multi-passionate you are of a businesswoman. And I hear you saying that in that breakdown, and in the kind of like personalized subscriptions, that is what I'm hearing. And as someone who also is multi-passionate, I've mentioned this to you before, but just seeing your business and going through your website and seeing everything you're doing with content creation has given me the permission to let that part of me grow. So thank you. And I just want to be mindful of time, because I am at a little coffee shop. I'm at Zoomies in Topsfield, and I've never been to this location, but it's definitely a good spot to chill and talk. So I'm glad this is all working out. And, you know, I do have a few more questions here. I have, was there like a moment, speaking of that multi-passionate part of your business and you, was there like an aha moment, or like one big moment where or was it a few different moments that kind of you were able to tie everything together and be like, oh, I can do this and this and this and this, and it is all one thing?
I absolutely love that question, because there was a very significant moment where this happened actually. And it was because I had a very interesting journey when it comes to, oh my gosh, my dog and my kid are just very intrigued in being a part of this episode today. Usually they just chill in the background. So for those of you listening who can't see, I apologize for the extra singing. They get excited. But my aha moment had to have actually been right at the beginning of the pandemic, or not even the beginning, mid-pandemic, because I actually was doing a lot of what I do for fun. It started as a school project. As I mentioned, I had a very interesting journey, and that included the fact that I actually went to 4 different colleges because I took off school multiple times so that I can just kind of like, you know, I can live, so I can life instead of, you know, so I can experience life to the fullest, learn more about myself, gain some more experiences. So I took off school a bunch of times, and I kept finally going back. What happened was in 2020, that's when it was finally it for me. I went back to Salem State to wrap it all up, and I ended up in a class where I was actually given a project, which included to create a blog. And so I created that blog, but just being who I am as a person, I couldn't just create a blog. I had to take it to the whole new level. So I created a full-on brand. It was born as Witch and Wellness, and I did work with 2 other group members as we were at Salem State, you know, the Salem Witches. But we wrapped up the class. We did what we did there, and I decided that I wanted to continue doing it. So it was revamped and reborn into Wicked Smart Wellness, which the name itself, I know you mentioned that at the beginning and we giggled about that a little. The name itself actually is very true to my heart because of the fact that I have a very strong Boston accent, as you can see. My family is from like the North End and from Revere. So some of the areas that have, heavier accents, even though I grew up in the North Shore. So, but because of that, in the North Shore, my accent was a little different. It's a little stronger than most. So people actually made fun of me. I did the morning announcements, was on the morning news, and people just loved complaining about my accent. It was the most bizarre thing. And it actually stuck with me for a while because I was 100% sure that I would be a broadcast journalist. When I was in high school, if you looked me in the eye when I was graduating and said, what are you going to do? I would have looked you in the eye and said, I am going to be a sideline reporter for the New England Patriots or the Boston Bruins. I was so confident that is exactly what I was going to do. But then anxiety started creeping in as I graduated high school and started entering the real world. Mental health is a real thing. And that mental health struggle like really hit me kind of hard because I decided to let all of the chirping and making fun of me get in my head and convince me that I could not be a broadcast journalist, which was actually part of the reason I left school the first time. Because my journey confuses people. I actually did really well in school. I actually had a 3.75 GPA, not to brag, but to brag a little.
Yes,
But
yes.
I did really well in school. It just wasn't, I didn't know what I wanted and it didn't feel right. I was working full time, living in Boston, and that felt so much more right. So anyway, I digress. My mental health was coming at me a little bit. It pulled me back. I withdrew from school. I changed my mind. I was like, it's not going to work this way. So I did a bunch of other stuff. I worked some really cool jobs in the meantime, on and off of different colleges, trying out different things, ended up back at Salem State to double major in media communication and business marketing. So when I get here and I have this class and I do this project, I was doing this blog and I was recording videos of myself. I was putting myself on YouTube and I was doing things I love to do. I was hosting events. I was doing virtual fitness classes and card pulling and dance parties and paint nights. And I was talking and interviewing small businesses, doing all the things I love. And as the pandemic hit, I lost the job I was working at the time. That's okay. A lot of us did. You know what? That's fine. Keep going, move forward. And I continue doing Wicked Smart as, you know, just, I still was doing it because I loved it. And I'm hosting all this stuff and I'm offering a lot of free stuff.
Yeah.
And
I've done this, a lot of the same.
Yeah, it's easy to do that, especially when you're in the line of work that we are, where we do love giving to people. So we want to be able to give, but we live in a human society. So we also have to be able to function in that society.
And there's a lot of like worth, like there's so much, these services are worth a lot in our community. So
you just
had
said
to jump in and say that because I've been like processing a lot of similar ideas, but I don't want to derail the story. Keep going, keep going.
No. You just added a keyword and it was worth, because I was struggling with self-worth at the time. So I didn't realize how significant what I had to offer was. So I was actually ready to backpedal, step away, and not give much of my time to that because I figured it was time to get a job. Like the pandemic was starting to move forward. And granted, I was doing what I was doing, but I wasn't making money for it. But I was working and I didn't realize that. And for the purpose of this story, I will not censor my language here. Not that I ever do anyway, because like there's no censorship on this show, but yeah, right. No, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I got to get a job. Like, I'm a single mom. Like, how am I going to find the time? Like, what am I going to do? And she looks at me and goes, bitch, you have a fucking job. I was like, what? Like, what are you even talking about? She's like, you have a job that you don't get paid for. You have founded an incredible company that people love and you're doing things that you love. Like, why would you stop doing that to do something else? And that was it. That's when it was like, you're right. Wicked Smart. And like, I know I already like jumped over this a little, but just for more clarification purposes, the point of the name was also kind of just a big strengthening reminder for myself that I've had what it takes the whole time. It doesn't matter what I sound like or what people say or what my experience here is with. Everything is a learning experience. I've been learning, and all I'm doing is taking what I learned and share it with the community. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm staying true to my purpose. I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing, and I love what I do. So like, how could I go wrong with that?
Wow, I'm blown away. I'm so grateful that we're connecting, and I'm getting to hear more of the background. That's an awesome aha moment story. And I could, it's so funny. I wish I had even said it, because when I was thinking about this conversation and thinking about Wicked Smart, the visual I get in my mind is brick and specifically I was thinking the North End, but I'm like brick and cannolis. Like that's that's what pops into my head when I think of the name. And like in the best way possible, because and then I'm like, but it's North Shore. So like where would that be? Would it be Gloucester? Would it be Salem? No, it's Boston. And I just want to say too, like through this episode, something I really appreciate is how this, you know, your job, your business gives you the flexibility to be a mama and be there with your son and your dog. And that is beautiful. And it's something I think about a lot for, you know, our society and what I, you know, what I would aspire to, or what I aspire to in the future. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking the time to do this episode. And I'm going to save my last question for part 2, if that's all right.
I love that. No, thank you. First off, I can't thank you enough. Everything you've said to me from start to finish so far has just been so kind and means more to me than I can actually put into words. It truly does. Because no matter what I say to each and every one of you about loving yourself, about knowing your worth, as you have all experienced and as I experience daily, we are human. So that is not always easy. And it just means the world to me to be able to see how my mission could be affecting other people. So you sharing this with me, I am so grateful. I think that this is so fun that you had this idea to kind of flip the script and make me talk about me, because I don't do that often. However, that means that we are staying true and making sure that part 2 goes on the calendar, because I can't wait to tell the world about what you do. I cannot wait to share all of the awesome things you have in the works and the ways in which we're going to come together. And before we wrap this up, one last final thing that I kind of want to bring back attention to that I didn't highlight enough that you brought up was that world, it fits in this world, word, multi-passion. I think that's a beautiful word. And I just want to highlight it because I just want to remind people that you're allowed to love whatever you want to love. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do, no matter how chaotic it may seem, which is why we are here on this show, Mindfully Chaotic, because the whole point is life. Yeah, life is chaos. Life is chaos. We just got to learn how to mind it in a way that is best for us. So you know what? It's okay if it doesn't make sense to people, because to be honest with you, a lot of people say to me, what do you do for a living? I tell them what Wicked Smart Wellness is, and they go, what? And they do not get it. And that's okay, because they won't. And that's fine, because not everyone always will. So that's something I've recently accepted. And that's my little takeaway that I want everyone else to remember is, you know what you want your bigger picture to be, and no one else is ever going to see that bigger picture until it actually manifests into a reality. So don't let them doubting you shut you down and prevent you from pushing towards that manifestation, because allowing their doubt to become your doubt will only slow you down. And we don't have time for that, because we love so many things and we have to do it all. And there's nothing that should stop us from that, especially not ourselves.
You know that, and I'll talk more about this on part 2. This will be kind of like where I pick back up. But someone said to me, actually, my co-host, my dear friend Dimple Lioness, said to me a few weeks ago, you know, you can do it all. You really can do it all. You can have it all. And because we talk about similar things and similar topics of this, especially recently, this multi-passionate entrepreneur, multi-passionate person, and how to embrace that and live that truth and be okay with that truth. And it just, I'll paint the picture when we pick up for part 2, because there's like a visual for it too. But yeah, I agree with that. I think, you know, we can have it all, and anyone can have it all. It's just, it's a mindset. It's a mindset thing. And I'm going to sign off for now, Amanda, but I can't wait for part 2. Thanks again for this opportunity. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you so much for joining me, Terry. I really appreciate it. It was an honor having you here. And again, thank you for giving me a chance to speak. Very much appreciated, love. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'm so looking forward to bringing you back for part 2.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. Toodles.
Thank you. Toodles. And with that being said, I want to thank everyone else who joined us today for Mindfully Chaotic. Thank you to all of our listeners for sticking along and tuning in to each and every one of these weeks. I appreciate all of those likes, shares, follows, ratings, even though none of them are necessary. As long as you listen, I'm grateful. And if you're not listening, that's also fine. So once again, I'm Amanda Marie. Thank you for listening to Mindfully Chaotic. And don't forget to tune back in for part 2 with Terry Moody. Stay tuned because we will be back with lots of love and lots of light to shine. Sending lots of love and good vibes, everyone. Bye-bye.